Welcome to Viornachannel. Today, we share a story filled with meaning about life, loss, hope, and love. Because behind every story lies a message that strengthens the soul. Let this story speak to your heart. I thought I was being a good child, but maybe I was just taking the easy way out. They said the care home was the best choice. Clean sheets, warm food, nurses on call. All the things a mother deserves. When she gets old, and you're too busy chasing your own life. I remember the day I dropped her off. She smiled, but her eyes didn't. She said, "Don't worry about me." And I believed her, because it was easier than facing the guilt. I told myself, she'll be okay. This is love. This is what love looks like, right? But deep down, something inside me knew I was abandoning her in slow motion. And now, I keep wondering, was I being responsible? Or just a coward wrapped in convenience? I thought I was saving her, but I was the one who hurt her the most. That day, I thought I was doing the right thing. My mother was getting older, more forgetful. Her steps slower, her grip weaker. I feared something would happen while I was at work. So I chose a safe place. A nursing home, they say, is one of the best. It had green gardens, kind nurses, and well-planned meal times. But who was I really trying to convince? The first night without her, the house felt empty. Too quiet. Not because there was no sound, but because the one voice I longed to hear was no longer there. I told myself, I did this for her. It's safer this way. But those words grew weaker every day. One night, I called the nurse. She said, Miss Saliha sat quietly by the window all day. She didn't say much, but every time we passed by, she asked the same question. Has my child come yet? My heart sank. The window. It used to be her favorite spot. From there, she always waited for me to come home. Now, she's still waiting, but I'm no longer coming. I realized she wasn't looking for safety. She was looking for me, the child she once cradled, protected, loved through sleepless nights. The same child who now left her behind, in the name of being too busy and too caring. Why didn't I see it sooner? Why did I believe that someone else's care could replace my presence? She didn't need structure. She needed love. She needed to know she still mattered. I remembered the nights she stayed up just to watch me sleep, the times she fed me before feeding herself. She never once complained. And yet, when she grew weak, I chose to let her go. All my reasons started to sound like excuses. Not out of love, but out of convenience. And that hurts. I don't want to be the child who realizes too late, who only shows up at the grave, who regrets when no hand is left to hold. So I decided to return, not just with my body, but with my heart. I can't erase the pain I caused, but I can start again, by being present, by apologizing, by listening even if all she does is sit in silence. Don't wait until they're gone to realize how much they meant. Parents don't ask us to be perfect. They just want to know they still matter. This house never felt empty until she left. Each morning feels hollow now. I wake up without the scent of her warm tea. No clinking of her spoon in the cup, no soft whispers of prayer from the living room. I thought this house would feel calmer, neater, more grown up. But this silence, it's suffocating. In the first few days, I tried to convince myself, she'll be fine there. She's being cared for, surrounded by people her age. But no matter how many times I repeated that, something deep inside me refused to believe it. One night, I thought I heard her footsteps slow, dragging her soft slippers. I opened my bedroom door, but only darkness and silence. I started to drift into daydreams. At work, I made frequent mistakes. My coworkers asked, "You okay? You look heavy." I just smiled and said, "Just tired." But truth is, I sleep more than I used to, just never peacefully. One night I opened our old photo album. There she was, me as a little girl, wrapped in her arms on my 7th birthday. She had the biggest smile, a smile I used to take for granted. Now it feels priceless. I realized I was too busy building my own life and forgot she was the reason I even had one. Back then, I thought she was becoming a burden, asking the same questions repeatedly, misplacing things, sometimes crying for no reason. I panicked, I got tired, I got scared, so I took the easy way out. I convinced myself that placing her in a care home was for her own good. But now I wonder, was it really for her sake, or just my excuse to escape? I call the place now and then. The nurse says, "She's doing okay, but she often sits quietly by the window." I nod from my side of the phone, even though no one can see me. I know she sits there waiting, not for anyone, for me, her daughter, the one she raised with all her strength, who she stayed up for at night, praying in silence. And I, that daughter, I left her behind, like an old suitcase in a station locker. Now I understand. The guilt I feel isn't because others blame me. It's because my heart knows I've hurt the one who loved me most. Sometimes, guilt doesn't hit when you do something wrong, but when you realize it's too late to fix it. Since that day, my nights have become painfully quiet. This house is still intact, but it feels like my soul has left it. Every corner calls out memories. That dinner table. She used to sit there, looking at me with her gentle eyes. Now, only the ticking clock echoes, soft but haunting. Sometimes, I sit for hours in the living room, hoping time would rewind itself, but hope always loses to reality. Every time I turn on the television, no show really captures my attention. Not because they're boring, but because my mind is never really here. It feels like half of me is left behind in that place. Since I left Mom at the nursing home, I thought I'd feel relieved. I thought I could focus on building my own life. But instead, I lost the most important part of it. I tried justifying it again and again. She'll be better cared for there. I need space for myself. This was the best decision, but the more I repeat those words, the more they sound like excuses I don't even believe anymore. Tonight I tried calling her again. My hand trembled as I dialed. 1 ring, 2, 3, no answer. I don't know why, but tonight feels colder than usual. And deep down, something feels off. I hugged a pillow tight on the couch, like a scared child needing comfort. Then her image came into my head. She's sitting by that window, the one she always loved, just to watch the moon. I asked myself, is she looking at the moon tonight too? Is she feeling as alone as I do now? The guilt, it's no longer something I can suppress. It hits me like a wave I never saw coming. And what hurts the most is that I don't know how to say sorry. Sometimes, the ones we leave behind are the ones who miss us the most. In the quiet of the nursing home, time moved slowly. The mother still sat by the same window, staring blankly outside, as if waiting for the sound of footstep shopping her daughter would return. She never asked why. She never complained. She just waited, and kept her longing tucked gently inside her silence. One day, the daughter finally came, but not to take her mother home, only to ease the guilt that had been growing inside her heart. As she stood at the doorway, her mother's eyes lit up, like she had been waiting her whole life just for that moment. The mother smiled, a soft, forgiving smile. No anger, no blame, only love. "Have you eaten, dear?" That was all she said. Not a complaint, not a single why, just the kind of love that never fades. The daughter cried in silence. She realized it wasn't the world that had been cruel. It was her, too busy chasing life, that she forgot the very person who gave her life. Many of us chase dreams, forgetting that our parents are the most precious part of that dream. They don't need our money. They just want our time, a hug, a call. Because in the end, the deepest regret isn't that they're gone. It's realizing how little time we gave them while they were still here. If this story touched your heart, please support this channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing to Viorna. Your support helps us share more stories that matter. Thank you for spending your time with Viornachannel today. If this story touched your heart, leave a like and share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe because we believe life becomes more meaningful when we share. See you in the next story. Thank you, and take care of your heart.